It was a night of tributes for the late Group CEO of Access Bank, Dr. Herbert WIGWE, who lost his life alongside his wife, Doreen WIGWE, and son, Chizzy WIGWE, in a tragic helicopter crash in the United States on February 9, 2024. Dignitaries, including Nigeria's Vice President, Kashim Shettima, and the 14th Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, were among those who eulogized the iconic banker. Udushala Falaye, who was the personal assistant to Dr. Herbert WIGWE, narrated how he escaped death by a whisker and gave a vivid narration of his last encounter with his boss.
It was a sweet journey, 11 hours. We flew from London to Palm Springs. I remember in the middle of the air, I walked up to him. I said, "Sir, how comfortable are you flying chopper at night? I've never done it before." And he said a word. He said, "This is America. They have navigation system for flying chopper at night." And I went back to my seat. And we landed. Everybody was filled with joy that we're finally almost there. And as they were loading the luggages, and this thought started playing in my mind that, okay, you will fly chopper, 1 hour you are there. The next 3.5 hours, the luggages are not going to come. Will I go to bed? No. I still have to sit down and wait for those luggages to come. And I'm like, so why not just go with the luggages and get there and deliver to him and others in the room? Like I said, I always reason in the line of duty. And I walked up to him. I said, "Sir, I think it's safer and will be secure for me to just ride and bring the luggage to you." He said, "Brilliant idea."
Well, the 14th Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, broke down 3 times while paying tribute to Herbert WIGWE. Each time he broke down, he was comforted by his aide, the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, and Herbert's partner, Igbo J. Ig Imokwede.
I was thinking I would die and leave Herbert. On the day I heard on the radio that I was dethroned, the night before I knew it was going to happen, and I called him and said, "I want to come to Lagos when it happens." The announcement was made at about 9 a.m. By noon, Herbert had a plane on the tarmac in Kano. The plan then was to take me into exile for many years. I put my family on that plane. No message, no phone call, nothing. Just put them on that plane and sent them to Lagos. Herbert received them. Put them in a hotel. Later, got them flats, got them accommodation. For months, when I came, we stayed there. I can go on and on. Shola is here. Herbert said to me, "Your Highness, you want to travel, tell Shola." I just called Shola and I get a jet. So much so that people believe I own the jet. Some people believe that I own Access Bank, and Ike and Herbert are fronting for me.
Herbert's family, including his brother, Emeka WIGWE, his sisters, Dr. Joyce, Stella, and Peggy, also paid tribute to the late banker. Herbert's daughter, Tochi WIGWE, who Ig Imokwede described as the most eligible woman in the world right now, gave an emotional speech as she paid tribute to her father.
You've left me with enormous shoes to fill, but you've also gifted me with an unwavering support system. You nurtured your relationships with such care that you've bestowed upon me fathers to guide and protect me. For that, I'm eternally grateful. I love you deeply, and I ache for the day we'll be reunited, to resume our cherished gossip sessions, to continue our pep talks about life and everything in between. With all my love, Mama T, aka You're Pretty.
Late Dr. Herbert WIGWE, Ayo, Olushola Falaye, his personal assistant, gave that moving tribute and talked about how he narrowly escaped death. And, you know, it was good to hear first-hand information to see how brave Herbert was. If you recall, he said that he went to him and asked him, "Are you sure you want to take a helicopter at night?" And Herbert told him, "This is the United States. We have the navigation system that will take us." I mean, they call him, you know, the African hero. The HOW Foundation have termed him our African hero, and everybody knows him as the fearless leader. Again, may his soul rest in perfect peace. I'd like your tribute.
Well, it was clear then that he showed fearlessness, yes, even until the very end. Shola Falaye's tribute was perhaps one of the most intriguing and one that people wanted to hear the most, aside from his family members, because he had the exclusive, at least to a very large extent, account of the last minutes before the unfortunate passing of Dr. WIGWE. And he did justice to that, even though at some point he was overcome with emotions. I want to just mention as well that in tribute to him, he ensured that he personally led the choir. So that was his choir, Light Hill Choir, and selected the songs carefully to reflect the life and man that Dr. Herbert WIGWE was. And so it was a difficult task for him, but he wanted to personally oversee that. So kudos to him. It was beautiful all through. Now, in terms of his account, it shows that, number one, he shared the kind of man that he was. There was one experience he said when he saw Dr. WIGWE in a room, his eyes shining bright because he was ideating. Yeah. And so we can then understand why he came up with such brilliant ideas and dreams that seemed like they were beyond that of just a mere mortal. But we could see that he took time to really think. He extolled him as a family man who placed his family first. And then the last moment where he said that he made the decision, his name is still on the manifest, to take, in the line of duty, focused on serving his boss, to take the luggage by road, and then Herbert, his wife, their son, and then Mr. Abimbo Ogunbanjo proceeded on the helicopter. At that point, he couldn't speak anymore. I mean, he just went because he couldn't even reflect. But I just want to say, in the last few days, we have been able to celebrate, and kudos to Access Corporation. Yes. They have done a stellar job ensuring that they send off Dr. Herbert WIGWE in grand style. Yes. But one of the things I would mention, two things, loyalty and his ability to hold friends and connection. Mm-hmm. We saw that with the kind of people who came to speak about him from different walks of life, young and old, staff members and captains of industry. An excellent life well lived by a fearless man indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Herbert WIGWE will be laid to rest on over the weekend on Saturday. I'd like a quick tribute before we wrap up.
In addition to all the things we have said, to remind all of us of what John Donne said. He said, "No man is an island entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent. Every man's death diminishes me, for I'm involved in my kind. Therefore, send not to know for whom the bell tolls, for it tolls for thee." What is important is for us to take the lesson from the example of Herbert WIGWE, who lived a life of impact and innovation and distinction. What everyone at that event was paying tribute